CEOs, civic leaders, entertainers, and entrepreneurs, they all have something in common: the drive, vision, and heart to achieve success. Steve Klein is a renowned business consultant, author, and host of Playmakers talk show. Each week, he introduces you to fascinating personalities who will inspire, educate, and motivate you to persevere and find your own success. And now, here's Steve Klein.
An unknown author said, "When you see a man at the top of a mountain, you know he didn't fall there." Welcome to Playmakers Talk Show. I'm Steve Klein. In the studio today are two playmakers who have gotten to the top of the mountain. Our first Playmakers company started as a small family business, but their employees now have over 100 years of combined experience. While our next Playmaker operates two high-tech companies and a free programming trade school. With us today is a president whose company's jobs include Cowboy Stadium, the Gaylord Hotel, and the Harry Potter ride in Orlando. Well, our next CEO's company has a solar-powered data center. These great playmakers are George Cannon. George is president and founder of Sigma Marble. And Peter Zielke. Peter is CEO of EpicU Office and co-founder of Epic Servers and EpicU. And we'll begin today's show with Peter. Peter Zielke operates, as I said, two high-tech companies, EpicU Office and Epic Servers. As CEO of EpicU Office, Peter specializes in online networking and security, serving hundreds of thousands of users daily. He spent 10 years developing a system that clients can customize, which was a feature not previously available. As co-founder of Epic Server, Peter helps design custom co-location servers, connectivity, and bandwidth solutions for clients. After his first high-tech position with Southwestern Bell Mobile Systems, he worked in the information technology, security, and network design sectors. Peter's a member of the Information Systems Audit and Control Association, a global network of information systems professionals. As a contributor to UNICEF, Peter joined a team of nonprofit organizers that fights for the human rights of children worldwide. Well, Peter, welcome to Playmakers Talk Show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Lots to talk about. Now, you do have three successful businesses. Let's talk first about your free trade school, EpicU. First of all, what is it?
Absolutely. EpicU is first it's a nonprofit, but it is a trade school, and it's for anyone who's thinking about switching careers or anyone who is interested in getting into the programming space and who says, hey, you know what, I really have a passion for computers. It's something that I would like to try. It's an opportunity where anybody and any company needs programmers. And so we started it as a school where they can come in, they go through a 3-month boot camp. It's a lot of hustling, and then our goal is after 3 months to actually have someone who can go and get on the job training and start actually working in the field of programming.
Now, this is actually also a free trade school. Is that correct?
It is. It's absolutely free, and there are a lot of trade schools out there that are charging $12,000 to $15,000, and part of it comes from our desire as founders of other tech companies. We started out without having the means to go and actually take these different courses, and so we were completely self-taught. And more we saw people who they had the mind for it, they could get into it, but they didn't have the money to either go through a computer science degree or to pay for one of these boot camps. And so we thought, you know what, let's just go out let's start this school. We'll be able to get some of the good candidates to actually come work for us afterwards. And it's a way that we can give back to a tech community that really has done wonders for us and we've been very successful in.
So it was relatively selfish going into it initially, but you're helping a lot of kids.
Certainly we get a benefit from it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So the why was there. You wanted to help develop your business with the right kind of people too.
Absolutely. I mean, we wanted to help our own business get good, bright people who wanted to do it. And then of course, again, starting out when we first started, we trained up a lot of people. So we had already built a lot of processes in our company on how we trained, how we brought the people up, and how we taught them to work, paired with other programmers. And we thought, why can't we make this into a full-time school and actually expand it so that, even if they don't come work for us, now they have the skills and they have the entry point to go find a good career in programming.
We spoke before the show started about the fact that kids, especially women, aren't being taught programming. This is really a white-collar trade school to help these kids really focus on understanding how to do that.
Absolutely. I mean, and we're completely diverse, from every ethnicity, male, female, in the trade school. And programming is for everyone. There is this whole misconception that it is a few guys with Coke bottle lenses sitting in their mom's basement who are sitting there, hacking some old mainframe. But the reality is that it's a trade that anyone who has the aptitude and is willing to put in the time can do. I mean, realistically, it takes a while. Like any trade, you have to put in your time, put in your effort, and master it. But anybody can do it. It's not out of reach. And for people who say, it's a great career, I would like to do it, why not do it? Why not come in and take the trade school and learn and try it?
We're speaking with Peter Zielke. Peter has a couple of businesses. We're talking first about EpicU, which is EpicU.org. What do you teach? When you say programming,
it is. I mean, and so we start from the very beginning on the fundamentals. We start with HTML, CSS, JavaScripting, and then we go all the way down into C#, some .NET, and obviously SQL and connecting to databases. And through the whole process, more than just teaching, we also have all these different challenges. And so we teach people how to learn. What are the resources? What are the places that you need to get code examples? What are the forums that you can get on when you're beating your head against the wall trying to solve something? So we're teaching people how to learn, and then we're also doing challenges. So they're doing real-world example, because every week each student has to get up and present to the other students a challenge of how they did it. Let's simulate creating Twitter. Let's simulate creating a Facebook. How would you create that? How would you store that on the database on the back end?
You're getting them thinking. The creativity is in there.
Absolutely. It's more than just, and part of what we've seen is even in some of the people who go through computer science degrees, there's a lot of kind of philosophy on the back end of how to do it, or the theories, whereas we're taking a slightly different approach, and we're saying, look, as an actual job or a career trade school, what are the things that your job is going to ask you to do? You're going to need to know these fundamentals. These are the business processes that you're going to recreate. And so we're trying to teach them what are the minimum requirements so that you can get this entry-level job, and then you can go work next to other programmers. And so it's our point of entry, I guess.
As a young person, you're getting me excited. I'm not that young person, but if I was in my late teens or 20s, this would sound exciting. How do they go about applying, and how do they get into EpicU?
So EpicU.org, go through, there's a contact form, and then they'll be contacted back, and we'll do an interview with everyone. I think really what we're looking for is aptitude and passion and the willingness to put in the time. And, it's not realistic to think that, hey, I'm going to go put in 10 hours a week and I'm going to be a programmer in a few months. And so we're looking for people who have the passion and they're really willing to switch careers and put in the time and the effort to do that.
And the training is how long again?
It's 3 months. It's 3 months.
All day, a full day?
No, so the classes are just half day Wednesday and all day Saturday. But then you're going to get sent home with a lot of homework for every day. So I think the expectation is certainly that during those 3 months, you'll spend 30 to 50 hours, again, in your off time and evenings and everything, getting your challenges ready and then being ready to present it in class.
But enough time to still work part-time if they wanted to bring a few extra dollars.
Absolutely, yeah. And part of what we've been very, fortunate is we have a lot of ex-students who are now teachers. And so they'll also hold other meetups and stuff like that. So if you feel you're falling behind, they can go up to the class and they'll get met up there, with the ex-students who are now teachers. And so they can actually practice and get answers. And, I think early on having that community of people who they can bounce their questions off of really, really helps.
That's great. Well, let's talk a couple of minutes about the other two businesses that you get paid to do, EpicU Office and Epic Servers. Talk about those and how they interlink together.
So EpicU Office does a lot of big data and commission processing, order calculation, tax calculation for multinational companies. And so I think where we've been successful is we've abstracted out a lot of the really difficult processes that a company would have to do to manage that data and manage that compliance with APIs, so that front-end web developers can just go and launch in those different countries by just having to connect through the APIs and without having to really get heavy into a lot of the difficult programming tasks. And then on the Epic server side, we've been successful. We do a lot of cloud hosting, virtual servers, co-location, and a lot of custom solutions. So we're very good about, we have a whole interface where people can kind of on demand build a custom solution with virtual machines and VLANs and, a lot of automation, I guess.
So it's more specialized in terms of who you're working with.
It is a lot more specialized. I mean, I think, there are a lot of cloud competitors. It's a very competitive space. And I think some of the big players, they have to standardize everything. And so we're able to kind of bring a more specialized local approach to it and say, how do we customize all these different features to specifically fit your niche or your need?
And those websites, if you'd like to find out more about the other companies, is epicservers.com and exego.com. Now, I mentioned at the very beginning that you have something unusual, at least I think it's unusual, you tell me. You have a solar-powered data center?
So solar-powered we run all of our cloud servers on DC. It's kind of, a lot of people understand, but all servers on the back, on the guts run DC power. And so you constantly have power loss when you're running the AC back to DC and you have the UPSs. And so it started out as a hobby of mine. And obviously to actually produce enough power to run a full data center day and night is difficult with solar. So our solar supplements it during the day and it feeds directly into our DC battery banks. And it's both a cost savings and it's actually very effective because you have less power failures when you're running everything just on DC power only. And it kind of goes back to the old school telco days that I did, that you have just a lot of reliability running on DC power.
That must have paid for itself very quickly and is paying for itself as you go along.
It does. I mean, I think you have a pretty large investment up front, but yes, it does. You have a lot less power loss that you would have from having to convert from DC back to AC back to DC. So yeah, it pays for itself, and it's a good story. It's a lot of fun. I mean, again, as kind of an old school electronics and electric guy, I like tinkering and designing those stuff and working with the electrical guys and helping them draw it out.
Will other data centers, or do other data centers move in that direction? Are there going to be more solar-powered supplements to power for data centers over time?
I think it's difficult to scale it. It is the reality unless you have a lot of land. So I think it'll be niche. I think there are already a lot of niches, again, primarily in telco and kind of the 100% availability where they're doing just straight DC to DC. I think, again, and I was told you earlier, a frightening statistic is that pretty close to 3% of the world's power is going to feed data centers. And so it is certainly hard to get enough land to build that much solar.
It would be difficult, I guess, to do all that. But correct me if I'm wrong, one of your highest costs is power.
Absolutely. No, power is a huge cost.
Any way to reduce that is helpful.
Yeah, and obviously you get bulk rates, but yes, I mean, electricity is your single largest cost in data centers.
Well, we talked about 3 different companies. I mentioned the websites, but go ahead and you tell everybody again how to get a hold of all 3 locations.
Yeah, so go to epicu.org and please apply. We'd love to talk to you.
Any age range, or does it matter?
Again, I think it's less about the age and more about the time commitment and the actual ability to do that. We want people to be realistic that if you have 2 full-time jobs and a family at home, you probably can't commit to 30 to 50 hours. And so we are looking for people who, have the energy and want to commit the time and, put that into it. And then on the Epic servers, just, epicservers.com, if you have cloud needs, we'd love to hear from you.
Well, great. Peter, thank you very much for being a part of Playmakers Talk Show.
Thank you for having me.
With everything you're doing, you are definitely a playmaker. Peter Zielke is the CEO of EpicU office and co-founder of Epic Servers and EpicU.